Thanks for joining me here today. It's Adriana here with the Lavender Love collection from Couture Creations. I'm going to demonstrate the new cut and create dies. You can do cut and embossing with them. You can cut and foil with them. They're all available now. They're beautiful and gorgeous, and I'm going to show you and demonstrate you how to use it with your Go Press foil machine, with your Go Cut and Emboss machine, and your Go Power and Emboss machine. All these dies cut beautifully, and you don't have to foil them. You can use them as an embossed die using some inks or just plain as it is. So I'm going to show you how you can create with these wonderful cut and create dies. There are 4 in the collection. This is the rustic reef. It comes with 3 pieces. This is the My Garden frame, and it also comes with 3 pieces. The buzzing frame, that also comes with a gorgeous little bee and the frame and a twig of lavender. And the wrought iron frame, that also comes in 2 pieces. So these are beautiful dies that you can foil and also emboss. So they come in a package like this. They're very easy to see, and I'm going to use the first technique using the foiling machine, which is the Go Press foiling machine. If you haven't seen this before, there are some more videos which I'll link below, but I'm going to show you and demonstrate you and remind you how to use your Go Press foil machine with the cut and create dies from the lavender collection that is available now from Couture Creations. So with the packaging, the dies are stuck with a residue of a little bit of glue so they don't move when they are shipped around to the stores. It's really important that you remove that glue so it doesn't stick onto your projects. The best way to remove that is gently peel away from the packaging the dies, and also get a bit of a baby wipe and some isopropyl alcohol and just rub it around the area where that glue was, and that will remove any residue from your die. It's really important that you do this, and it will be the best way to get off that glue with a bit of isopropyl alcohol. When you buy the Go Press foil machine, it comes with the conversion plate, which is a metal conversion plate. It's a much more thicker plate than using it with your die machine. This will help you create and cut with the actual dies. It is really important that you place that onto your Go Press foil machine, and also place your dies with the image facing up. So the flat side is on the bottom and the beautiful image is facing you. I've turned my machine on, and while I'm waiting for that to heat up, I'm placing my dies on top of my conversion plate. I'm cutting a piece of foil, and remember it's foil side down. And then I'm going to place some cardstock, and I'm going to show you the exact sandwich that I use when I use my Go Press foil machine and my Go Cut and Emboss die cutting machine. Remember, this platform can be used with any die cutting machine that has a 6-inch opening, like your Big Shot, your Cuttlebug, your Spellbinders die cutting machine. This platform from the Go Press foil machine goes through any of those machines. I'm using this beautiful foil, yellow foil gold from Couture Creations. Again, there's 5 meters of this beautiful foil. You can see the color is on one side and the silver is on the other side. So you're placing the color side down, letting that foil relax and heat up on the conversion plate. You can see how it's relaxing. I'm using just a piece of white smooth cardstock, 180 GSM. Then on top of that, I'm going to place a piece of A4 paper, just normal copy paper, which I've folded in half, and I find this really helps with processing it through my machine. It just gives an extra shim to the platform and helps with the process of foiling and die cutting at one process of a time. So here I have the Go Press foil machine. It's ready to go. I'm sliding that out of the machine and using my Go Cut and Emboss machine, I'm placing the GoPress foil machine platform through it, and you can see that I'm going through it very slowly. Now with these types of dies, it's really important that you make sure that the foil adheres to your paper and cuts through at the same time. As you can see, I went up once and then back, and that's all I find that is perfect for doing and creating with these cut and create dies. So it's really important that you keep this platform warm at all times, even though you may not be using it for a little bit, or get into the habit of reloading it back into your machine while you're creating. So as you can see, it's cut a beautiful circle reef of lavender branches. It's cut out the centerpiece as well. You can keep that piece of foil for other techniques, and just rub through gently, or use a little pick to peel off that foil, and you will see that it is actually foiled and cut and embossed in one process. The same with the other two little branches here. They're the same too. That's actually cut through and embossed and foiled in one process. How cool is that? So this is ready to create cards or any projects ready for use. Another idea is that you can use this as a form of a base of a shaker card. So you can create a couple of layers of this reef and adhere them all together to create a really nice project. Really pretty, and you can use this with different color foils. Did you know that there are 72 different colored foils from the Couture Creation range? I'll have a link of that down below. It's all the colors that are available with using the GoPress foil machine, the cut and create dies, and also the beautiful foils. Now these left over here, they're the negatives, and I'm going to show you a technique on how to use the negative pieces. Okay, so now I'm going to use another of the cut and create dies. This is the same process. I've sped this up just a little bit faster just to show you it's the same process. I'm using the cut and create dies, and I'm placing it on my conversion plate with the color side down of the foil on top, my cardstock, and then running it through my Go Cut and Emboss machine. And this one here is a gorgeous frame. It also comes with a little watering can and also the word My Garden. I've just used some gold, vintage gold foil, and you can see how beautifully that is foiled and cut in one process. The watering can is cute too. That will look nice if you can paint that or colour it in. And the word My Garden, this would be ideal to create a little booklet of little memories of your garden. Now the reverse or the leftovers of your foiling. This is going to show you the technique of using the leftovers of that foiling. So this is a negative piece of that foiling, and I'm going to place it between two cardstock. These cardstocks are 180 GSM. I'm placing that under my conversion plate where it's really nice and hot, and then I'm going to place some shims of paper. I didn't know how thick I needed the shims because you're actually not using an actual plate. But I tried it once with a bit of cardstock on top, and that was too firm. It wouldn't go through my machine because that was too thick. So I took that out, then used a couple of pieces of just paper shim, and that was just enough to go through my die cutting machine. And as you can see, I tried it here with a bit of cardstock on top, and that was too firm. It wouldn't go through, so I took it out, and it still wouldn't go through. It was just too thick, so I took the card and some paper stock and just left a paper shim on top just to give it some more pressure for when I'm pressuring it through the Go Cut and Emboss machine. Now when you're doing this technique, you may have to go up a couple of times because you want to adhere pressure onto that foiling, because there's no plate, there is no die. There's no die. There is a plate, the conversion plate, but there is no die. And as you can see with the pressure, that has actually transferred, all the foil has actually transferred onto that piece of cardstock. So all I have to do now is cut around it and use it for my project. So that's just a quick way of using the negative foil to create still some wonderful images with the Go Press foil machine and the Cut and Create dies. So now I'm going to show you a technique of using the Cut and Create dies and cut and emboss. So with this, you don't need a foiling machine. All you need to do is the Cut and Create die, and also I'm going to use the platform of using all the sandwich platforms to use creating with your normal dies. Now I'm stamping over the Cut and Create die with a pigment ink. I'm using Card Deco Blue Purple. I'll have the color put down below, but you can use any inks that have got a pigment base to it, because it needs to be a little bit more resilient and also a bit more absorbent, because this is a wet ink and this will actually adhere really nicely to the cardstock once you place it through the die cutting machine. Now this time I'm going to use my electric Go Power and Emboss machine. I'm using the platforms from the Go Cut Emboss machine because the machine can take both. So I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. And you can see that this has cut it out. I'm going to show you this is cut it out in one transaction through my electric Go Power and Emboss machine. It has actually cut out the actual image, and also it has embossed, and wherever I stamped the ink has actually transferred and produced a beautiful stamped image. Isn't this gorgeous? This has got a bit of a pearlized sheen to it because the Card Deco pigment inks have got a bit of a pearly sheen to it, and that is gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? So that's another way to create with the Cut and Create dies. You can foil, you can emboss, you can use the negative of the foiled piece once it's foiled, and to clean off the ink you just get a baby wipe and just clean off all that residue ink before you create again with the Cut and Create dies. You don't have to stamp it. You can actually place a piece of cardstock on top of the die and then run it through. I'm running it through now again through my Go Power and Emboss machine, and you can get a beautiful raised embossed image of the actual die without any ink, and it's just a really nice texture, really looks lovely, and that's just another way of creating with the Cut and Create dies. So I created this video to show you and to remind you how to use the Cut and Create dies. There are 4 in this collection from Couture Creations, from the Lavender Love collection, and all can be used individually or all together. Remembering that you don't have to foil, you can use this die as a natural die that you can run through your die cutting machine by stamping over it with pigment inks. You get a beautiful image, and or you can use it with the foiling machine and using the leftover pieces or the negative spaces of these foils and create still some more projects. So you're not wasting any of your foiling or elements. These are beautiful elements that can be interchanged and changed over with all the different papers and also the stamps that are involved in this collection. I hope you enjoyed my video. It's just a brief rundown on reminding you how you can use these wonderful Cut and Create dies. They're all available now from Couture Creations. Look out for it in your store. If you need some more information, please visit couturecreations.com.au. Thanks for joining me here today. I'll see you another time. Bye for now.